Okay. Hello, I'm Sophie. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to talking about books, because I can. Today, specifically, I'm going to be talking about a few of my comfort books. So just books that are nice, books that I can easily reread if I need a break from a more heavy book that I just read. Some of these are a little unconventional, they're a little, like, why would you think that's a comfort book? Don't ask. We're actually going to start with the least conventional one here. Wilder Girls. Not that I really like the ending. I think I talked about this before. I didn't really like the ending, but the whole vibe, the whole environment, the whole everything, the whole book, incredible. Except the ending was a little strange. I have not reread it yet, but I'm currently letting my sister borrow it. I just stole it from her real quick. I'll be rereading it, for sure. That's the least conventional one out here. I think the other ones are relatively normal. We'll see. Anyways, I don't know what this is about. This is... Am I too zoomed in? Let's see. This... Yeah, it's better. Oh, can you see my favorites shelf up here? It's very empty. But this is about an island... I'm going off of memory. An island on the East Coast, perhaps, that is, like, overrun with a disease. A physically corrupting disease that's affecting the whole island. It's affecting the wildlife, the people, which is an all-girls school, that's the only thing on the island, and it's cut them off from the world because they don't want it spreading to the world, yeah? So, it's about, I think there's 3 main perspectives we see. They're all girls in this all-girls school that, you know, is no longer schooling and stuff. They're just trying to stay alive. And it goes about, like, the mystery of the island, the mystery of what's happening. It takes you down so many different, like, mysteries and, like, what's happening, what is this, what happened to them, what happened to this, you know. And it's just good. I just liked it. So, that's that. Also, that cover. Yes, it's obstructed by a sticker I've been taken off, but that's low-key why I bought it in the first place, but like, beautiful. Next, actually, I'm going to talk about a whole series, which is Becca C. Smith's Riser Saga. All three books. I don't know if you care to notice, but I'm rereading this, 30 pages in. Started it last night. I finished this last year. It's just a really nice, easy read. Like, I can read these in probably like 3 or 4 days, and it's just good. It's just nice. It's got fantasy, it's got mystery, it's got raising the dead, it's got science. I love it. I love it. I'm reading it again. I'm reading it again. I don't know if I'm gonna read the whole series or if I'm just gonna read Riser, but the whole thing. Just like, if I need to take a mental break for like half a month, boom, I read her. So, if you don't know what this is about, what this whole series is about, I will go off of memory for this book alone. And it expands, you know what I mean? Main character can raise the dead. She can control dead things. Any dead thing. Not just like people, but like plants and bugs and animals and whatnot. And she lives in a world, let me see, like 300 years in the future. And she's kind of like not the dregs of society, but she's at like the bottom of the economic pyramid. Yeah. So it opens with her just like talking about how she can do this and how she's been controlling her dead stepfather for 11 years. Quite an opener. Her mother gets killed in like a extermination with gas because, you know, they're the bottom of the economic pyramid. They're like trash, I guess. They can be disposed of. There we go. And because there's a pill in here that you can take that grants you immortality, you live forever. Not immortality, but, you know, anti-aging. You can still get in a car crash or something, but since there's this pill, overpopulation is wild. You know, this extermination, this gassing of an entire trailer park is to lower that. So, main character was not there at the time. but she is now on the mission to, and I quote, take down the man responsible, her grandfather. Next, I have what might be the three most heavily reread books on my shelves. We will go from least reread to most reread. The least reread, which is not to say it's bad, obviously, I've still reread it a few times, but the least reread is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I feel like everyone likes it. A lot of people like it, at least. I've heard, like, basically all positive things about this. Taylor Jenkins Reid has a way of writing historical fiction that makes you Google the characters to make sure they weren't actually real. If you don't know, this one's all over booktube, I know. But if you do not know about this one, it is about Evelyn Hugo, a Cuban American actress. I think Cuban. Is she Cuban? I don't remember. Hopefully. She's in the 50s, 60s area, and she's an actress, and she makes it to Hollywood, and it's about her life, because this book essentially is her biography, her memoir, I suppose, which is written by the secondary main character. It is glamorous, it is fun, it's sad, so sad. It's very good. It's very good. I think I've read it twice or 3 times. The first time I actually like full on cried. The second time, tears. Maybe I did only read it twice then because I can't remember anything about a third time. Alright, now, the second most read, Good Omens. I'm sure people are aware of this one. It's an Amazon show now as well. I actually watched the Amazon show before I knew about this. And I love the show. So I was like, oh snap, it's a book, let me pick this up. And I love this. I think I've read it 4 times. It's about a demon and an angel trying to avert Armageddon by taking down the Antichrist. Or, you know, just like trying to stop it because they've both been living on Earth for 6,000 years, since Adam and Eve. And they both love it. And they both are friends. And they're like, okay, we're gonna stop this together. And yes. This is the book I read during finals because I knew I needed something I'd already read before, just so I could, like, once I'm done with the test, I can just whip it open and read. Because, first of all, the scenes are nice and short. The scenes are great. Love them all. This is actually, like, one of the only books I have an identifiable favorite scene in. Maybe it's not my favorite scene, but it's like, it's up there. I got to it during finals last month and I was like, oh, there she is. Now, is it a surprise? This is my most read book on my shelf. Ready Player One. This bad boy has been read probably 6 times. It's so easy to get through. Personally. Okay. 80s video games. What's not to like? It's a movie. Most people have seen the movie. I didn't like the movie. It's an okay movie. I'll watch the movie again. But like, if you took the movie and forgot it was based off of a book, wonderful movie. Love it. But having read this and having it like basically ingrained in my mind at this time, and then finally watching the movie, I was like, ooh, what's going on here? Both great pieces of work. But her, if you're unaware, it's about this man who made an insanely popular, beneficial virtual reality world. Dies. He dies. Rip. On his will, he planned it out. He has created a competition within his virtual reality, in which the person who wins gets all of his riches, his money, which is a lot. He's like the richest person in the world at this time. And you also get ownership of the game. So, main character, obviously, is going about trying to win. And then there's a corporate company corporate company there that is also trying to win because, you know, they want money. It's all 80s and video game references, and, you know, like, what's not to love? What's not to love? Ready Player 2, on the other hand, we don't talk about her. Now, on to the last four. These last four are contemporary books that I've only read once. Whoops. But that I could easily reread again if I needed to. If I needed to. If I wanted to, because they're just nice. So we're gonna start with Emergency Contact. This, I almost DNF'd twice. I DNF'd it once, then I was like, okay, come on, give it a chance. So I did, and it was great. Because I'm not a big contemporary person, but I try to pick it up whenever I can, and I'm pleasantly surprised each time. I mean, not like I'm like an avid hater of contemporary, but this was very sweet, very nice. I loved it all. Except the beginning, it begins weird, but we don't have to talk about that. This is about two main characters. They're a little bit down on their luck. It's not going great for either of them, but they find each other through circumstances, which I will not, I guess, spoil. Or, well, okay, so they meet once, and then they meet, like, alone through circumstances. And they are each other's emergency contact in a way that, since they don't know each other too much, they can vent about anything. Obviously, this slowly leads to a connection, and love, I guess. Then, both of Celeste Ng's novels. They're short, they're cute, they use a bunch of family ideals and histories and backstories to tie the entire story together. First and foremost, Little Fires Everywhere. Loved this one. Both of these are actually on my favorite shelf. Well, not currently, of course, but you get it. I loved the dynamic between the two families, the backstory of all the characters, the reason characters are the way they are, how subtle, like, the conflict is, but then it, like, builds up to the end, which is, like, the beginning is also the end. I need to reread this, too. Wow. Okay. Oh, it's just good. It's just good. Wow. Who would have thought? Book's good. No wonder it got published. This one, however, still has the tag on it, because I read this. I listened to this on audiobook. Oh boy. This one. Wow. I have yet to read it in print, obviously. It still has the tag on it. But the audiobook, literally, okay, I was drawing while listening to it. That's how I listen to audiobooks. At a certain part towards, I would assume, is the climax, I just had to sit there and stop and listen. Like, it was too much. I had to recoup. Anyways, Little Fires Everywhere is about a well-off family, probably upper middle class, renting out one of their houses. They're like, yeah, like a house. It's a house, to a traveling artist, single mother, and her daughter. It's so much more than I can say without, like, spoiling, I think. When they arrive, the single mother, her daughter, in this new house, to this nice, tranquil, upper middle class neighborhood, it kind of, like, messes everything up and begins what will be little fires everywhere. As it says on the back here, the mother of the upper middle class family is suspicious of the single mother. So she starts digging up her past, which eventually does end not too great for her, or anyone, I guess, in the whole story. And then, Everything I Never Told You is about, it opens with a girl, Lydia. She is found dead. Well, people think she's missing, and then she's found dead, half decayed in a lake. And half white, half Asian household around the 80s. So it's not only struggling with the husband who is Asian, like, in his sort of, like, not prejudice, but, like, the judgmental looks he gets, I guess, in multiple fields. Also, the wife, oh, 70s, not 80s. And then the wife also wants to be a scientist. So it's dealing with her as well, trying to get into a field that is primarily male. So it's them. It's also, I think they have 3 children, including Lydia. So it's about their family life, how each child is treated, because Lydia was like the star child. She was like first priority, she was perfect, she was pampered, whatever, and how each succeeding child was kind of left out in a way. It follows mostly the mystery of how Lydia died. Was it a murder? Was it suicide? Was it an accident? What happened? And oh my god, it's so good. Okay, my camera overheated once again, so we're on my phone. But one more book, Killing Commendator, Haruki Murakami. This is a very large book. Also, just a side note, it opens so nicely, like that. It literally, like, what? It's just a painter in an old cabin in the woods dealing with magic things. What's not to love? Technically speaking, I could put every Murakami book on my comfort books, because just the way he writes, making like everyday things that are like typically monotonous, like they don't feel monotonous. It just makes real life feel worthwhile, I guess. Because when you read all these books, you're like, oh, I'm not saving the world, I'm not falling in love while graduating college, what's the point? But like, the main characters in these are basically going on their everyday routines, with a little bit of magic sprinkled in. They're trying to just go through their life, and then like a friggin' elf is in their toilet. I don't know. So all of them could be on here, but I picked this one because painting, first and foremost. There's a mysterious guy that lives across the like valley from where this cabin is. That was fun to like learn about. But once he like gets into the like full-on magicalness, was also really cool. Quick shout out to Kafka on the Shore. He's literally staying in a private owned library. What? Anyways, that's all of them. Sorry I had to switch cameras right at the end there, but yes, these books are great. Some of them aren't necessarily my favorites, a lot of them are though, but they are an easy, oh, I just need something light to read, let me pick that up kind of deal. So, thanks so much for watching, thanks for being here, thanks for hanging out. What are some of your comfort books, if you have any? I know there's comfort movies, comfort shows, comfort books. They might take a little longer to get through, but they're still comforting. So, if you do have any, I'd love to know. I'll definitely check them out at some point. But otherwise, I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.